Next up, section 9.6, Kwan et al. This was in 2010, and they found palm cooling delays fatigue during bench press. So the objective was to test if cooling the palms during interset rest in weightlifting improves acute performance in a thermal neutral environment. So this is interesting, is that they were actually in a thermal neutral environment in this study. So 16 resistance trained men, 4 sets of bench press at 85% of 1 rep, maxed failure with 3-minute rests, and randomized between palm cooling. They also had palm heating, and they had a control. And then they measured core temperature, EMG, RPE, and total volume. So the key findings is that they found significant increase in total workload volume with cooling versus control, about 26% improvement. They managed more repetitions in later sets. So the later sets, the final sets, when the most heat has accumulated throughout the training, is where they found the biggest improvement, whereas palm heating and control showed fatigue much earlier. There was also a lower peak core temperature and lower RPE. Now, this is important because they identified a lower peak core temperature. That strongly suggests that the core temperature, the central fatigue, the thermal stress, was the variable that impacted work volume. So it's very, very good that they evaluated, they measured that, and were able to make that connection. Now, interesting, EMG amplitude was higher with cooling, which also suggested greater muscle recruitment when cooled. So let's take a look at some of the diagrams. So we start off here with, this is core temperature. In white is palm cooling. You see throughout the rest periods that it remains the lowest. Not surprisingly, palm heating is the highest of core temperatures, and the control is in the middle. So that is consistent with what we'd expect, but it is validating that throughout exercise, core temperature did rise and it remained lowest with cooling. Total reps, we'll see pretty even to start for your first set, which would make sense. You're starting off from the same baseline. As sets progress, palm cooling with significantly more reps and more volume. Interestingly, palm heating did more than control, but still not as much as palm cooling. We see the same trend for rate of perceived exertion. Fairly even, almost identical. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me for the first set, but then you see the trend. Palm cooling, the lowest RPE throughout. Exercise volume, palm cooling, the highest total throughout. And again, that was a 26% increase. Now we see also EMG, so RMS difference here, and between thermal neutral and palm heating and palm cooling again rose up higher, highest level of muscle activity. And this is a good validation checkpoint. Not significant, I think, in the theory or application or mechanism of the results, but just good to verify. Palm temperature, as you might expect, in the thermal neutral in the middle. When you heated the palms, the skin temperature was highest, and when you cooled them, the skin temperature was lowest. So exactly what we would expect. The conclusions drawn by the authors are that palm cooling delays fatigue. Between heavy sets, it can temporarily override fatigue mechanisms, allowing athletes to perform more reps and volume before exhaustion. So the ergogenic effect is likely attributed to attenuated thermal strain and central fatigue. And this was further evidenced by the fact that they demonstrated lower RPE and lower core temperature. So they're very, very strongly correlated.